Valorant just posted this to their Twitter account, and it's a preview of some changes coming in episode 7 act 2. Unfortunately, we don't have any gameplay of these for now, it's just the patch notes, but they'll be coming to the game in under a week's time. The key thing to note here is that all the changes are to focus on apparently increasing game state clarity, but let's move on to the actual changes. First is Breach. His Aftershock will now only have 2 ticks instead of 3, but each tick will now deal 80 damage rather than 60. Breach's ultimate is also nerfed, it will now cost 9 ultimate points instead of 8. Brimstone has the same change to his ultimate, it will now have 9 points instead of 8. Fade only has a minor nerf and it's to her Prowler. The time to re-equip your gun after using the ability will be slightly longer. Gekko's Mosh Pit now does 10 damage on the impact area, and that's on top of the damage when it actually explodes. His Wingman now has the HP reduced from 100 down to 80, and Thrasher's explosion effects will apparently look different. Next up is a nerf to Killjoy with her ultimate going from 8 points up to 9. Omen's Paranoia now has no movement velocity imparted while casting, and I think this means it won't go any faster or slowing depending on if you're moving forward or backwards while throwing it. Skye is receiving quite a few nerfs this patch. Firstly, the maximum duration of her flash is going from 2.5 seconds down to 2 seconds, and the health of her dog is going from 100 down to 80. On top of that, her ultimate is going to cost 8 points rather than 7, and the health of each individual seeker is going down to 120, previously it was 150. Sova only has one change, but it's a pretty big one. His recon bolts will now only do 2 scans instead of 3. Viper's ultimate is also getting nerfed, it will now cost 9 points instead of 8. Astra is one of the few agents getting buffs and nerfs. Firstly, her gravity well or pull is having the startup time increase from 0.6 seconds to 1.25 seconds, so over double there. Then the duration of her pull is decreased from 2.75 seconds down to 2 seconds. The startup time of her stun has been increased from 1.25 seconds down to 1 second, and then a massive change to her ultimate, which will now completely block sounds rather than just muffling it, so no noise from the spike or anything. Jett is receiving a lot of nerfs in this update. The devs wrote a lot in terms of just describing her changes, but the timer of her dash window is decreased from 12 seconds down to 7.5 seconds, and the activation windup is increased from 0.75 seconds up to 1 second. The duration of her smoke is decreasing from 4.5 seconds down to 2.5 seconds, and the time to re-equip your weapon after using her smoke will be slightly longer than it was before. She will now only have 1 charge of updraft instead of 2, and her ultimate will now cost 8 points instead of 7, so again, all 4 of Jett's abilities have been nerfed. So those are all the changes coming next week. I believe it's like 11 agents in total, mostly nerfs across the board, coming in patch 7.04, also known as episode 7 act 2. But yeah, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think of these changes.